Shiver me timbers, shiver my soul. Yo ho, heave ho, and welcome back to Inside Quotes, the podcast where we heave ho and yo ho the staples of our childhood. This is episode 109, and I'm your captain, Jeremy, and with me today, as always, is my first mate and older brother, Jonathan. Jonathan, welcome back to the show.
Quack, quack, everybody. It's good to be back on the show, but Jeremy, you're the captain? Since when? I feel like I'm the older brother. I feel like I have the right to be the captain.
You're right. I'm simply an old cook.
We're co-captains. Co-captains in this endeavor.
I think we're co-hosts.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Did you get your small boat sailing merit badge in Boy Scouts?
Ooh.
I don't think so.
I did not.
I don't think so.
You may have gotten the small boat sailing, Jeremy, but did you know I got the cinematography merit badge? I think that makes me more qualified than you do, genius.
I taught the cinematography merit badge.
Got me there. Can't argue.
But I didn't get my puppetry merit badge, and that's what's most important today, because today we are covering, well, first of all, before we start, you already know what we're covering, Muppets Treasure Island. But we are starting a themed month, and something we've been looking forward for a very long time.
We've talked about it in all our planning sessions. It's like eventually we're going to do it, and now the day has come.
Probably about a year or two in the making. We thought we would love to just do a month where we do nothing but pirate movies.
Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, this month we're just going to be pirating movies every day, just illegally downloading them on LimeWire, and just getting that shaky cam footage from the theater. It's going to be great.
I'll have you know, I was never ever once on LimeWire.com because 1, I was a good boy, and 2, I was a 3 to 5 years old. Good boy.
You wouldn't steal a car.
I do remember those commercials. Those were really good. But yeah, no, we're talking about swashbuckling on the sea, parrots, rum, stinky barrels, and bilge rats.
Mm-hmm.
Arrgh. Pirates, you know? And
eye patches,
pirate,
peg legs,
eye patches, iPads,
earrings, Johnny Depp,
pixie dust, hooks. Yeah. No, but for real, like, I feel like pirates is a phase that every young boy goes through around kindergarten-ish to the rest of their life.
Jeremy, are pirates your Roman Empire?
I don't think it's my Roman Empire. I would say,
Okay.
like, random presidential facts is my Roman Empire.
Yeah, that's true.
Although I do think about pirates a lot. And I feel like pirates weren't super popular until this particular movie, but especially when Pirates of the Caribbean came out. Which, of course, we will be covering the first one this month. So stay tuned for that. Jonathan, tell the listeners what else we're going to be covering this month.
This month on Inside Quotes, Pirate Month theme, we're going to be covering, of course, Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl. Add that to your watch list. We've got Treasure Planet. Add that to the watch list. Disney Classic, kind of.
Most people would say that.
Some people
Disney
love that
cult
one.
classic for
Cult
sure.
classic. Underappreciated, but very appreciated by a small minority.
Save it for next week.
And then Jonah, a VeggieTales movie featuring the pirates who don't do anything. And
Absolutely.
Of course,
that one's sort of a stretch, but we love that movie.
Oh, it'll be great. We wanted to do that one for a long time. And then, of course, today's episode, we've got Muppet Treasure Island.
Quite possibly my favorite pirate movie of all time. And that may be a hot take, but I don't know. It's a comfort movie for me.
Is it better than Captain Phillips, Real Life Pirates of Somalia?
I am the captain now. Never seen it. Maybe we'll do that as a back burner on our Patreon this month. So
write that down.
If you have... Yeah, we'll cover that movie this month on our Patreon. as a back burner. So sign up, join our group. We'd love to see you there. Anyway, so another reason why we wanted to do Pirate Month is that I feel like growing up in Tampa, that's like a huge culture around Florida and the Gulf of Mexico, and we're very close to the Caribbean and just like the ocean in general. So I feel like pirates are a big part of Tampa, whether it be the football team there, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, constantly rooting for pirates ever since they won the Super Bowl in 2003 or 2, I don't remember.
I think it was
Gasparilla is a thing.
Which is like Mardi Gras, but pirate themed.
Yeah. Honestly, I thought it was the same thing, just different.
A little different. Same thing, but different.
We never went to them. But yeah.
I got to be in some of the parades.
A big pirate culture.
For like work and stuff like that. Yeah, for like work at like Busch Gardens. Because they had like few different parades, and one was like a day parade that was more family friendly, and less drinking.
Yeah, because all I've heard was like they're pretty rough, like Mardi Gras.
Yeah.
Beads are thrown. There's nothing like a good parade where you collect a bunch of beads. That's my treasure hunt.
Ooh, let's talk about this.
Is when the treasure gets thrown right at me.
You had a bead collection.
Dude, I did. Yeah. Well, being in Scouts, of course, we had to be a part of... We had our own troop float where we didn't really ride on. We just walked and hiked behind it. And we threw out candy and beads and stuff. But also, our 4th of July parade every year was one of the best. And we would just collect beads. Never went to Gasparilla, though. I bet it'd be great.
While we're talking about Tampa a little bit here, I need to take a little bit of a detour. Because I'm still basking in the afterglow of a Cuban sandwich I had yesterday.
Bro, yes. Tell us about it.
Shout out to Karina's Cuisine, a food truck here in Bowling Green, Kentucky. They have Cuban food, and they have a great Cuban sandwich. And they came straight to my workplace, and I just went out there. It was a beautiful day. It's a beautiful lunch. I had it for lunch and dinner. And I'm just still yo-ho-ho and a bottle of rum. I don't know what that has to do with anything, but that's how it made me feel.
Wow, dude. Okay, well, you heard it here, folks. You heard it here first, folks. Go get some Cuban food.
Yeah.
We are not sponsored by them, but, if they're listening, hit us up. That'd be a fun little sponsor thing. We should, contact random food trucks around the country. Just doesn't even have to be around us. Just say, yeah, we're having a podcast if you want to.
We really appreciate what you're doing.
Sponsor us. Give us a coupon for a sandwich. But yeah, dude, there's nothing like a good Cuban sandwich. That's my favorite.
Oh, it was so
sandwich
good
of all time.
It just brought me back to the old country, Tampa.
Tampa Bay, Florida. Another stuff about Tampa Bay. Another pirate thing that I remember is at Busch Gardens, Tampa Bay. They had like a 4D show.
Oh,
do you remember that?
Yes.
I forgot what it was called, but it had like Eric Idle in it, right?
It had Eric Idle and Leslie Nielsen in it.
Yeah. It was really funny.
Yeah. I came across that recently, and I added it to my watch later, and I haven't watched it yet, but that was a staple.
You can watch it?
Yeah, there was that one,
dude,
and then there was another
in the
one.
description. I want to watch that.
All right, here we go. I found that one. There was also another one called The Haunted Lighthouse, and I remember that being there. I don't know if it was a Howl-O-Scream thing or if it was just there before the Pirates thing. But anyway,
was it a pirate-themed show?
No. So this was at the 4D theater at Busch Gardens.
Right.
Let's go way back. They had a dolphin show. And it was very popular. I remember going to the dolphin show. And then they ended up closing the dolphin show, and they turned it into an enclosed theater, and it was a 4D theater. And so throughout the 2000s, they had 4D movies, which they would blow air at you and squirt water at you at certain scenes and kind of rumbled.
Kind of like when you go to the eye doctor and they do the puff of air in your eye. That's what it was like.
I remember, shout out to Caleb Keenan, because I remember there was a time when we were going to Busch Gardens all the time. And I feel like we would go see this pirate show like every time because it was an easy thing to go do when it was raining outside and the rides were closed. Or it was just super
and
hot.
that happened every day, multiple times a day in Tampa, Florida.
Or it was just like super hot. So he's like, oh, let's go inside and watch this like funny short film and get out of the sun for a little while. We'll put a link to that.
Rest.
We'll put a link to that in the podcast notes because I loved it.
It's honestly the Muppet Show of Hollywood studios. But yeah, so before we get into this movie, I'm ready to talk about Muppets. I really am.
Okay.
But to kick off Pirate Month, I kind of want to start off, make it a little extra. We each exchange a new pirate fact that we learned at the beginning of each episode. And I'll let our guests know ahead of time. Maybe that's what we're doing. And if they're not prepared, who cares? Whatever.
Okay.
But yeah, if you want to go first, Jonathan, do you have a pirate fact for the listeners?
I do. And hopefully we don't have the same ones because we haven't talked about this beforehand.
Yeah, we haven't.
So
I'm ready to learn.
Are you familiar with the term keel hauling?
Say that again?
Keel, Keel, hauling.
Keel hauling?
Keel hauling.
Yeah, he was in my math class.
Yeah. Well, the fun
keel
fact...
hauling? No, I've never heard of that.
The fun fact that I learned is that there are actually no records of pirates actually forcing people to jump off a plank into the ocean. Like, that's not a thing. That's something that has been invented for, like, storytelling and movies and stuff. What was most likely the case is they probably just killed him and threw him overboard. Or this, basically it's an execution method. It's called keel hauling, which is they would tie them up to like a rope and like swing them out the side and let them drag along the bottom of the boat.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Wait, they threatened to do that to Gonzo in this movie.
They did,
and he was
yeah.
like, oh, that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Dude, okay, that's cool.
I noticed that after I found that fact.
I mean, it's very sad, but...
Yeah.
Would you rather keel haul or walk the plank?
Oh, no, the diving board. Absolutely. Yeah.
As long as it goes boing.
Yeah, when I was looking up the description of keel hauling, all I could think of though was like Napoleon Dynamite tying up that action figure and throwing it out the side of the bus and it just dragging along the road behind him.
Oh man. That's funny.
I bet Napoleon was a Pirates fan. But who isn't? Every boy is at some stage of their life.
It's a rite of passage.
All right. Jeremy, what fun fact do you have for me?
Okay, mine's somewhat lengthy, but I'll see if I can shorten it up. So here's a fun fact I learned about pirates this week. All right, so America has pirates to thank for us not using the metric system. Pirates robbed the metric system from us.
Okay.
So, around the 1700s, whenever we were becoming a new nation, when Thomas Jefferson was the Secretary of State in 1789, I think? I'm not sure. 1793-ish. They needed a new standard measuring system because the states were using like a hodgepodge of measuring systems. I think they're using like a Dutch version and a English system. And it was just very confusing. So it was Thomas Jefferson's idea to take surveys of other countries and stuff. And we had a French scientist, Joseph Dombey. He was dispatched to the U.S. in the mid-1790s to share the early metric system as a request to Secretary of State Thomas Jefferson. And apparently he had a bunch of copper cylinders with him, and they're about 3 inches tall. And then he had an object's weight of 1 kilogram on him, and like he had a bunch of different like measurement pieces of like the weighs and measures and stuff. Anyways, he got captured by pirates on the way here. and they ended up killing him, and we didn't get to even consider the metric system after that.
Oh.
So France almost gave us the metric system, but because of pirates, we don't have that. Another fun fact about that is that they like searched him, and they saw all like the copper pieces and the 1 kilogram pieces, and they just thought it was trash, so they threw that into a pile of junk. Yeah, he died in captivity, and he did not make it to the Americas. Really sad. But what could have happened? Pirates are American, brother.
America. Yo ho. All right. What I love about that is you still managed to bring up some presidential knowledge into that fun fact.
He wasn't even president yet. That's funny. Moving on. We're talking about the Muppets, dog.
All right. Transition.
All right. Here's my pitch for the new Muppet movie.
Okay.
I love these. Glory. But with the Muppets.
A Civil War.
We still keep Denzel
War film.
Washington. Matthew Broderick
Of course.
gets switched to Kermit, of course.
Mm.
But Denzel Washington is the only human. Morgan Freeman might be there. That's it. But that's it.
I'd like to see Morgan Freeman interact with a Muppet.
He probably has.
Well, Muppet Treasure Island.
Thank goodness. That was the longest intro ever. I'm ready to talk.
On this show, we have covered the original Muppet movie, and we've also covered the Muppet Christmas Carol. We did those in like our first year. And since then, we've talked about the Muppets a lot, but we haven't covered a Muppet movie in a long time.
I know.
I feel like we just constantly, it's just a recurring segment on our show of let's recast the Muppets in this. Especially with Harry Potter. That's been the running thing.
Jonathan, that's my Roman Empire, is finding new Muppet IPs in mixing with other IPs. Casting the Muppets in other movies.
So in the early 90s, the Jim Henson Company had a change when obviously Jim Henson passed away, and they were weren't sure what to do next, and they decided to make a Christmas Carol by adapting like a classic work of literature, casting the Muppets in there with real life actors, and that was a huge hit. Certainly was in our house. And so they decided, let's do it again. And so this time they decided to adapt the Robert Louis Stevenson novel Treasure Island, and let's go for round 2. I wish we got a trilogy of these. I feel like we could have had.
I wish we had more than 3.
Yeah.
I wish we had 7. These are my 2 favorite Muppet movies by far.
Interesting.
Like, not even a competition. Like it's not even close.
Yeah.
Not even the original Muppet movie. That's not good compared to this. I have a love for this movie and Christmas Carol more than most movies. And we make a tradition every year, every Christmas to watch. Like that's one of the few Christmas movies we make sure we watch every year.
Mm-hmm. I was thinking of that when I was watching Treasure Island. I was like, we need to add this into the rotation somehow to watch.
I know. Can we just make Pirate Month September?
We'll just do Pirate Month every year. Well, we've at least got like 5 years worth of Pirates of the Caribbean movies to work in.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Okay, so have you read the Treasure Island book? I'm just curious.
I actually did this week.
Did you?
I was surprised. I did, because it's super short.
It is, yeah. I've not read it. I actually started it one time, and I got like the first 50 pages into it, and then I stopped. But I picked it because it was like a classic novel, and it looked pretty short. But I never finished it.
Yeah. I didn't know it was so short, and obviously it's a kid's book. He wrote it for like the youths, if you will.
But it would still be really hard to read
it out.
For kids today, though.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Surely. It's not, Yeah, but I checked it out from the library as an audiobook because I was like, it's a classic. It's probably like so long.
Yeah.
And it was only an hour and 30 minutes.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
I wonder if that was
Well, it's
abridged.
only like it. It may have been,
Hmm.
but still, like I think the original is only 2.5 hours.
Yeah, I mean the book that I had, it was
super short.
pretty short.
It's like 200 pages or something like that.
Well, maybe I will try and listen to it as well, and maybe we can talk about the book more when we do Treasure Planet.
It's actually really cool because we can just make the connections now. I watched this movie on Tuesday. It is now Thursday for the listeners, for context. And yesterday, I started listening to the book. And I watched it again today, right after work, just skimming it and stuff. And I found a couple things that was like, there's super small details that you wouldn't notice unless you had the book. Like, the scene where Rizzo, Gonzo, and Jim are hiding in the apple barrel.
Mm-hmm.
That's like at the beginning-ish of the book, or like it's like it happens sooner than it does in this movie, but that's like a detail. I didn't expect that to be a detail. Like it's something that just goes over your brain. But like they were talking about in the book how they would eat all the apples, and he like fell in reaching for the last apple, and he's so like obviously Gonzo and Rizzo weren't there, but they were in my heart. They will always be.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then he got stuck in the apple barrel, and that's when he overheard the pirates talking about mutiny and stuff. And I thought that was really neat because it clearly said apples on the barrel.
That is cool.
Anyways, just stuff like that, and how there's a detail where they're talking about how Long John Silver has a crutch, and how like power. I wish you could have seen him back in the day. Like he was great, he was powerful, but now he's on a crutch. But don't let that stop him. He's got his crutch, and if he doesn't use that, he's got ropes around the deck that he just hangs on to for his use, and he does that. Like if he's not using his crutch on the deck, he's holding onto the ropes that are like little loops just hanging around the deck. Small details that they don't even really bring to attention, but if you would have read the book, you would have gotten it. It's cool.
Yeah.
I'm glad I read it. You should read it too, listener. It's really short. I might read it. I might read the official. I might read it.
Oh, wow.
It was good. You know what's another book I want to look for?
What's that?
Jonathan, do you remember the book fair?
Yes.
The Scholastic Book Fair? Every kid does. Well, there was like this crazy $30 book that was hardcover, and it always had a jewel in the hardcover.
Okay.
In the middle of it, depending on what it was. Like I think one was like Egyptology or Greek mythology, and then one was piratology, and that one had a skull on it, but with a ruby in one of the eyes. And I wanted that book so badly, but we couldn't afford it because why are you going to buy a $30 book for your kid? Even though it was educational.
It's the price of the jewel alone.
Yeah, honestly, the piece of plastic.
I felt like Christmas Carol. I have read Christmas Carol, and I was so surprised at how faithful an adaptation the Muppet Christmas Carol was to the book. I do. I was reading that the Muppet Treasure Island, while it is pretty decent, it does take some liberties. It's not as like closely matched, but
yeah, they don't really have cabin fever.
They don't really have like a pleasure cruise with all the rats on board and stuff like that.
Oh, it's so funny. Oh man. As someone who's recently been on a cruise, that's so accurate.
I knew that would
There's a bunch of
appeal
old
to you.
people just dancing and just ordering drinks all the time and just having a great time. That was so funny. And they're great for transitions too.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
The Muppets are perfect. They are perfect. Minus Miss Piggy. We need more female representation in Muppets, but other than that, they are perfect.
These like literature adaptations are Miss Piggy's best movies though, because she's in them like so. She has such little screen time.
Thank goodness. Listeners, if this is your first episode that you're listening to, and you know that we love the Muppets, we need to have you know that I for one, maybe for both of us, I can speak for. We hate Miss Piggy. I think she's the worst.
In moderation, she's good, but
sure,
most of the time she overstays her welcome, and that's part of her character. I get it.
That is true,
but
the Miss Piggy scene is the time where I can it's the one scene in a movie. Like, movies don't build in scenes for you to be able to go to the bathroom during that. I love that.
Note to self: if we ever make a movie, let's build in a scene where people can use the restroom. It's like very obvious that that's what it's for.
Like, the person just goes to the bathroom.
Just the character just like turns, breaks the fourth wall and's like, "I'm gonna go use the bathroom. You can either follow me, or you can go yourself."
And it just follows you, and it's just a shot of the door.
Yeah,
you're not even in the bathroom with them.
Or it just follows you in, and then it's just like, "You sure you don't need to go?" Like, just keeps turning around to the camera.
That'd be great.
The movie writes itself. There was a lot of good like fourth wall breaking moments, which is typical for the Muppets. But
Yeah.
I really liked like when the scene at the beginning, like Billy Bones dies, and Rizzo's just like,
"He died? And this is supposed to be a kids' movie."
Name a more iconic duo than Rizzo and Gonzo.
You can't. You really can't.
I don't want to, even if I could. It's crazy. Besides, okay, Fozzie and Mr. Bimbo.
Okay, Mr. Bimbo, I'm not actually that big a fan of that. That joke was getting kind of old to me, I felt like.
Mr. Bimbo, he's been to the moon twice.
But it's funny that you signed on to this call with your name as Mr. Bimbo.
I did. I just thought it'd be funny. Do you know the history behind that?
No, I don't. Enlighten me.
It has nothing to do with the book. Nothing
Okay.
to do with the book. That character is in the book. His name is Trelawney something.
Mm-hmm.
But
oh yeah,
he's not. He may be like dim-witted, but not like. Not.
What are
he doesn't
half-wit
talk to
sons
a man
for?
in his finger. That was funny. Yeah, I feel like that was a fourth wall break too. He kind of looked at the camera at that.
Yeah.
I think it was sort of a dig at Brian Henson directing this movie.
Oh.
That's how I took it.
Yeah. That's kind of funny.
But yeah, Mr. Bim, one of the writers, I don't know what his name was, but one of the writers was like, just be funny to have him be a dim-witted, just make him. It was literally just a random thing that he wanted to make him do the whole movie, just to make it funny. Like, oh, what if he's so dumb that he thinks that someone's talking?
Was it Jerry Jewell?
No, it was not.
Kirk Thatcher? James Hart?
Kirk Thatcher. It was
Okay.
Kirk Thatcher. Yep. But yeah, Mr. Bimbo has nothing to do with the story.
He just wanted to add that, which is fine. Like, it's Muppets. Make it irreverent. Like, add your own stuff. We're not. It doesn't have to be a faithful adaptation, but it is kind of cool that they do put in the details that they do.
Best part about that is that half the people watching this have not even read the classics, anyways. So they wouldn't know. That sounded very pretentious. I have not read the classics.
No, me neither. Yes,
I'd
you
like to
have. You read
someday.
the whole Count of Monte Cristo.
Is that a classic?
How is it not a classic?
Good point. I also read that on an iPad. That was the first and last ebook I ever read. Ugh,
That's rough. That's rough.
it was nasty,
Let's go ahead and talk about Tim Curry. Why don't we?
dude. Absolutely, let's do it.
Tim Curry has one of those faces that you just know he's the bad guy in everything. I know Tim Curry is a good actor. He's eating up every scene he's in. I'm not a fan of him, though.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love him. I love him through and through.
I mean,
He's
this is... Granted, I haven't seen like a ton with him in it, but like this would probably be
Yeah.
my favorite movie he's in.
Okay.
But and maybe this movie just trained me as a kid to not trust him from the start, you know?
Well, Jonathan, you know what trained me to not trust him from the start?
What's that?
Is seeing him as freaking Pennywise in the first It.
Oh, when you saw that when you were 5 years old?
I didn't see that movie. I saw the title cover at Walmart and I pooped my pants.
And you knew it was Tim Curry in clown makeup?
No, but I know his face, and I knew that I know that now that he played him. Anyways, he plays a really good villain,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
and his iconic laugh. Oh my goodness, that just sounds evil.
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure he played Garfield, British doppelganger in Garfield 2: A Tale of Two Kitties. If you're familiar with that masterpiece. Second, my favorite thing he was in was super niche TV show, the Redwall TV show.
Mhm.
He was a voice actor for, I'm blanking now, the Fox guy.
He was in Home Alone 2.
He was in Home Alone 2. He was the butler, or
Um,
the bellhop guy.
I don't know. Have you
He
seen
was,
the Three Musketeers? It's a Disney movie, live action.
I think I may have a long time ago, but I don't really remember it too much. I'll
Yeah,
cover it.
He was in
I'm
that.
sure it's good.
I would watch that over at Paul's house a lot.
Yeah. He played Slagar the Cruel. He voiced him in Redwall, Madame Mayo, season 2.
Mhm.
Super deep cut for those, if you've ever read or watched that TV show. One of the greatest TV show book adaptation shows of all time. Canadian animation from the 90s. Super good. But he had the exact same Tim Curry laugh in that.
Yeah.
And okay, so Tim Curry is also known for other stuff like Rocky Horror Picture Show, which I've never seen, but that's probably his most iconic role. I know him from that one episode of Psych,
Mm-hmm.
American Duos. That was a good episode.
Oh, is that the one he's in?
Yeah, he plays like the Simon Cowell guy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he has a lot of voice acting stuff. Like he was Nigel
Cool.
Thornberry in The Wild Thornberries.
Was he really?
Yeah.
I may have seen Clue also.
Oh, yeah, I've seen Clue. Yeah. He was the butler in
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
That one was okay. I wanted to like it a lot more than I did. This also has the dad from Timeline in it. Billy Bones at the beginning.
Oh my goodness. You're so right.
Yeah. AKA Paul Walker's dad.
Are you serious? Okay, so I'm not gonna lie. I straight up thought that was John Cleese at the beginning, and I was like, "There's no way that's John Cleese."
No, it's
He
Billy
just kinda
Connolly.
looked like him. Billy Connolly. What? He's in a lot of stuff too, though, right?
He was also in Garfield: A Tale of Two Kitties.
That's right.
That's a
Dude,
link we need to click on.
I thought John Cleese was in that movie. That was completely wrong. I may have said that in our Garfield episode.
Maybe.
I get him and John Cleese mixed up, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah, I could see that, or I could hear that.
Billy Connolly. He's in a lot of things. He's in Brave. That's it.
It makes sense.
Just kidding.
He's
He's in
like
the
a Scottish
Hobbit
guy, right?
movies. He's in that Gulliver's Travel movie with Jack Black. You remember that one?
I did not see that. Yeah, the movie doesn't have a lot of human actors in it, actually.
It's very Muppet heavy.
It's pretty Muppet heavy compared to Christmas Carol.
What do you mean?
Well,
Oh, I guess there are.
Christmas
I
Carol, they didn't have like major roles, but there was a lot of extras that were just townspeople, walking around. But really,
Sure.
I mean, it's really just Long John Silver, Jim Hawkins, the
There's 2 crew members that have cabin fever. That are,
that's right, yeah. Yeah.
but that's about it. And then there's like the innkeeper, lady that beats up everybody, and she's like,
Yes.
don't worry, go on without me. I'm fine.
Yes. Jennifer Saunders is her name. Do you know who she is?
Not at all. Tell me about her.
She is the voice of the fairy godmother in Shrek 2.
No way.
Yes, that's her.
I didn't realize we were talking about royalty here. Oh my.
I used it as the clip for last episode as the hint, but like I really liked that scene of just like doing the roll call of all the pirates and all the different pirate names.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite pirate that's not like
absolutely
a main character?
Without a doubt, Jonathan, I definitely do. We'd have the same one. You know
I bet we do.
And honestly, this should be the Muppet of the Week, which is another segment I would like to bring up. My favorite pirate Muppet, his name is not Dead Tom, but that's a fun one. Clueless Morgan, the goat boy.
Oh, this guy here?
This is for you.
Yes, that cracked me up. That's probably the best line. This is for you.
Oh, dude, the goat pirate was so funny.
Huh?
Dude, I cracked up both times to that on the roll call. Clueless Morgan? Huh?
Okay, so I'm holding in my hands a Goodwill find, a book, The Muppets Character Encyclopedia by DK Publishing. It's got more than 150 Muppets from animal to zoot.
Oh, that's the name, not the species.
From animal to zoot, A to Z.
All right, well,
Clueless
I
Morgan.
think this is a great one to start off.
His debut was in Muppet Treasure Island. Special talents, sleeping. Education, no thanks.
Just kidding. You're a kind man, a handsome man. You're precious. A beautiful man.
He was the best. But I did like Dead Tom and Old Tom and Real Old Tom.
Dead Tom's dead. Long John shot him. What do you mean? Dead Tom's always been dead. That's why he's called Dead Tom. Oh, man. The best part about the Muppets is that the extras in the Muppets are just as funny, and they hold a super high place in my heart. Like, they're almost the stars of the show.
Kind of like Popeye from last episode.
Yeah.
Let's see what else it says about Clueless Morgan.
You said he made his debut. Was he in other movies?
No, yeah, Muppet Treasure Island was his
Muppets
debut.
in Space. Yeah.
It doesn't have a whole list of stuff, but each character it says where they first appeared. So
Gotcha.
Some of it is in movies, some of it is like it'll say like Muppet Show episode 200 or season 2 episode 5, you know.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool. Even if it's like before the Muppet Show, it'll be like, you know, like for Rolf the dog, it's like whatever commercials he was on.
Yeah.
Clueless Morgan received his nickname when he landed his breakthrough role as a pirate in Muppet Treasure Island. Everyone thought him very naive. His real name isn't much better. Dimwit C. Morgan. The C stands for Chucklehead.
Not even clueless. That's funny.
Clueless enjoys breathing and doing his involuntary reflexes. He's a member of DINSA, a club for those with sub-zero IQs.
Okay.
Clueless thought he had to take music lessons because he has horns.
Oh my goodness. But it's not even his birthday.
Okay, so the way that Clueless
He
says,
told me
like,
to.
huh? It just felt like Pog Rape from VeggieTales. It's a little bit different, but it reminded me of that. And my mind was on that kind of line of thinking because of the character at the beginning of the movie, Blind Pew, that comes in
Yeah.
and gives Billy Bones the black dot. He's like, ho ho ho, Billy Bones. Sounds like the French peas.
The black spot, not the black dot. Silly.
Oh, the black spot.
Yeah.
The spot of death.
That's so funny because Pogrape is a pirate we'll be talking about in next week's pirate movie.
That's right.
He doesn't really do anything, but that's so great.
I did like how they included Statler and Waldorf into the bow of the ship.
Yes, that was perfect. It's good, like, transition parts, like, scenes, like, because they're, like, yeah. Between that and the rats on the cruise, like, them being a part of the boat in the establishing shot sets it up for the perfect transition. Like, they can make a joke.
And they save them in the day, like, they catch them out of the
air. Yeah.
Yeah. Another good, like, fourth wall break was when the Swedish chef shows up and they're like, he's like preparing the meal and they're like, how else did you think we were going to get him in the movie?
Yeah. I have a recipe for blackened rat. Okay, so the cabin fever number, which is just like the random spot where it's just like dead center of the movie.
Easily the first thing I think of when I think of this movie is that song.
Yeah. Yeah, not the best song of the movie, I wouldn't say.
I would agree with that.
It's solid. It's the trashing the camp of Tarzan.
Oh, yeah.
Like, probably the most iconic song, but not the best.
It's like a funny joke, but the song maybe goes on a little long.
Right.
Yet it's iconic. It's the thing I think of most.
Sure. But okay, so the establishing shot where they're like, it's just a hard cut at the beginning of that scene of just the ship on calm waters, just the sun beating down in the distance. Yeah. It's like something that's in a lot of pirate movies, I think, or just like boat movies in general, where it's just like at one point it's moving at night and it's smooth, and then it just fades to black, and then it just boom. All of a sudden you're just stuck in the middle of the water. I don't know how to describe it.
Like it cuts to daytime.
You should watch it. Cuts to daytime, and you're just still.
Yeah,
and that's just like, ooh, that is such a shot for boats. Anyways, it's stupid.
It kind of reminds me of that scene.
It made me feel good.
This is totally, I don't know. It just kind of reminded me of the scene in Castaway after the shipwreck or the plane crash. And it's just like you hear the rain is beating down in the storm, and you see he's just like floating on the waves of the water, and then it just like cuts and it's like silent, and he's like washed up on the beach, and it's like daytime.
It's like jarring a little bit. Yeah. And then at the end of that song where it's like they're singing and it's nighttime, and you could see it cuts back to that same shot, only it's at night, but there's like lights going crazy from the boat. That's where it looked like a cruise ship to me, because when I was on the cruise a couple weeks ago or last month, I remember looking out in the distance at nighttime, and we saw another cruise out on the horizon, and they had we could just see their lights and like their party like on the deck, and I was like, oh, okay, we can see that. And that's exactly what that's such a cruise thing. What is your favorite song of this movie?
I think "Shiver My Timbers" like kicks off the movie really well.
Yeah, it does.
It's a common comment, but everyone's like, it didn't have to go that hard, you know.
It went super hard. It was almost like "Deliver Us" from Prince of Egypt.
It's a great way to kick it off.
Same vibes.
Cabin Fever is the one I think of immediately.
Yeah.
I really liked the Professional Pirate song. I thought that one was kind of funny.
You're a professional pirate. Yeah, that's a good one.
I liked that one. Sailing for Adventure was good.
Something better. There's gotta be something better than this.
It's a little high pitched. But and of course I'm not gonna mention the Miss Piggy ballad.
Love, let us hear. Da, da, da. Even that's kind of an iconic one, and I hate it. Boom Shakalaka, classic. The Ziggy Marley Love Power credits song. Oh, so good.
As I was watching the movie, I was just thinking to myself, like, these songs like aren't as classic as like Muppet Christmas Carol.
What do you mean by that? Because that's wrong.
I just felt like the songs weren't as good. The songwriting wasn't as good as Muppet's Christmas Carol. Having said that,
That's insane.
they have grown on me. I listened to I tried to find this on Spotify. It's not on there. I had to like look up the soundtrack on YouTube. But immediately as I started like re-listening to it, I was like, actually, these are pretty good songs.
They all hit. Every single one of them does.
I think Christmas Carol probably beats it for me, the soundtrack for that, but this has some
it's
great music in
Christmas
it. That may have an edge on
There's
it
love in the
because of
air.
that sentimentality, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. But these are sea shanties.
But the thing is, like, to this day, there's just random days, no matter what day of year it is, that just something from a Muppet Christmas Carol gets stuck in my head. And I just, like, wake up and that song is on my mind.
Interesting. It's because you're not a professional pirate, Jonathan.
That's true. Yet.
Get into the holiday spirit. This is Pirate Month, dog.
I'm working on it. I'm thinking about getting me a tattoo.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I feel like I'm setting myself up for a joke here that I don't have a punchline for.
Yeah, I was just waiting for it. I'm actually thinking about getting a tattoo.
What tattoo is it? It's a tattoo
is
of
for you.
Kermit the Frog on my arm.
Bro, I'm getting If I get any Muppet, I'm getting Clueless Morgan.
This is for you.
That is definitely the inside quote of this movie. Because I feel like me and you kind of say that without knowing where it's from. I definitely say it knowing where it's from. But I didn't know if you did. But I say that a lot when I...
It clicked that when I was watching it, I was like, that's what that's from. That's what he's saying. I've known that in the past, but it's one of those things where I've forgotten. Okay, let me ask you about another quote here.
Okay.
I could have been a contender.
Yeah, that's what I know that this is from that movie, not even from The Godfather.
That's not even what that quote's from. It is Marlon
is
Brando.
It Goodfellas?
No.
What
it's
is
from
it?
a movie I've never seen. It's from a movie On the Waterfront with Marlon Brando.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I could have sworn that was from Scarface. No.
You've said like three different gangster movies.
Yeah, those are literally the same movie in my mind. You will never convince me otherwise. I have no desire to watch them anymore.
Whenever you have quoted that, is that from Muppets Treasure Island, though?
Well, I know it's obviously an iconic quote, but I don't know any better. So, yeah. That's like when adults are making jokes and then the kid is like, they laugh along with it, but they don't know what the joke is about.
Yeah.
That's this quote for me. I'll say this quote, but I don't know what it's... I don't care where it's from. I know it's important.
Besides, like, the musical numbers, though, to go back to the music, Hans Zimmer does know how to make pirate music. I will say that.
He do. He definitely do.
I was like, I saw that in the opening credits. I was like, scored by Hans Zimmer? Oh, man.
Of course.
And it was good. It was good music. I feel like let's save some Hans Zimmer talk for the Pirates of the Caribbean episode.
Okay.
But let's give him his props here. He had a great score for Muppet Treasure Island.
Here's some props. This is for you.
And now let's talk about props of the movie.
I haven't actually thought about that. It's not even the compass. It could be the map, but it's not.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Kermit the Frog is a prop, technically, right?
Yeah, all the Muppets are props. Oh man, I would say either Long John's.
Probably the black spot, like on the piece of paper. I don't know.
Really.
Yeah, I guess I wouldn't want that, would
Long
I?
John's crutch.
Maybe just like Kermit's
More of a set
costume,
piece.
his like ship captain costume. It's the
But
type
that's
of
not
thing
a
you'd see
prop,
in the
that's a
Smithsonian.
costume. I've seen Kermit the Frog in the Smithsonian.
Can I cheat and say I just want to have a movie poster of this movie because I really like the poster and the artwork by Drew Struzan.
Absolutely.
It's got that like 80s Spielberg, Star Wars type art.
Yeah.
I like it. Oh, you know what other scene I had to rewind now that I'm flipping through pictures of the movie?
What?
Is when when Kermit and Piggy are like hanging from the rope.
Oh yeah.
And like Kermit has to catch her and like his face just contorts completely to this like he's making this crazy face. Eyes bugging
I
out.
love it when Kermit's face contorts. Love a good Muppet contortionist. You know what's an important prop to the plot of this movie is Sam the Eagle's keys.
Yeah.
I would say between Long John's crutch and the keys.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's my prop.
I like me a good
Keys.
treasure map. I would go with that
Okay.
for me.
Treasure map and keys. They
Yeah.
go hand in hand.
I like how this movie has, we kind of talked about it already, but just kind of like has almost a tropical feel.
Yeah.
Because of like all the cruise stuff with the rats. And like when they're on the island, it's like they got the tiki torches and like the steel drums and stuff. I don't know. I feel like that Muppets Kokomo cover should be in this movie, but it's not.
It should be an in credit scene.
Yeah.
I would say that this movie feels like, if I were to put it towards a candy or a food in general, it would be Lifesavers Butter Rum.
Ooh, I was
Hard
gonna
candies.
say the exact same thing. Like
Are you
as
serious?
as you were talking, I was like Lifesavers, butter rum.
That's what this movie is.
Mhm.
That's this candy. That's amazing. I want to have some of those right now, actually.
I guess a lifesaver is like a boat thing, a ship thing, you know.
I didn't even think about that. That's a good idea. That's so funny. Okay. Jonathan, I don't know this, but what is like the origin of the phrase lily-livered swine? That is such a pirate phrase, and I love it.
I have no idea. I think that was probably said by one of the Little Rascals. Right after they said, "Sissified Tweety Bird."
No, I always heard it as like a Scottish insult. You lily-livered swine! Or like a pirate thing. The term lily-livered originated from the idea that a lack of yellow bile or color would cause a person's liver to appear white or colorless. White-livered can be used interchangeably since the 17th century, but lily-livered is more common. I guess it was a Shakespeare term. The lily-livered boy. I don't know. That's not even like a pirate thing, I guess. Origin. They just said it. Goes back to the medieval period. This is the movie that makes me want to see the Muppets live in like a show, in not necessarily the Muppet Variety Show, but like a Broadway. Like I want to see them do Pirates of Penzance. Like I want to see a live Muppet show. That would be pretty impossible to do, unless it was like animatronics, I guess. But
Closest thing we've seen is Muppet Vision at Disney.
yeah. I want it to be more real than that, you know?
Yeah.
It's one of my toxic traits is that I somewhat want to believe that the Muppets are real. And deep down, I think they are.
They are. Everyone that works with like the Muppet performers all say the same thing. Like, as soon as like they call action, like they feel like they're real characters.
Exactly.
Like they just start interacting with them, and it is real. It's magic.
Because even the behind the scenes have the Muppets performing in them. Like, they're staged behind the scenes, and I love that.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have them like showing, just in like textbooks or something, that do you see Jim Henson with his hand up Kermit's butt, but like you don't ever see that usually. I think that's great. The Muppets are better than any technology, any 3D animation, period. I'll take this over any 3D animation, or the CGI characters.
I was just watching this and I was like, this couldn't be that expensive to make. Like, I don't know why Disney just doesn't make another one of these. Just spend a measly $40 million and make another one.
That's nothing for them. It's chump change. I don't know why
people will go see it.
They don't. They do not give the Muppets justice. They are more iconic to me. I would rather Kermit the Frog be the face of Disney. I don't give a crap about Mickey Mouse. I don't.
Yeah. That's why
I really don't.
And I feel like that's why these adaptations of like classic works is perfect for the Muppets in Disney's hands, because like they're not the original creators. They own them now since Jim Henson passed and the owner sold it to Disney. So they're not like the creative force behind them, and so I think they've really struggled to know what to do with the Muppets. Although the two movies that they made, I did like. But I do feel like what most people do know how to do is they know how to cast the Muppets in already made like stuff. Like, you could just keep doing that. So I don't know.
They're not above doing remakes.
Yeah.
What are we talking about? New adaptations? Come on. Easy.
Ooh, I don't want to see them in like a live action Disney movie remake. That would be weird.
That would suck, actually.
But
well, they don't need to make Disney one. I'm not talking about that.
Yeah, I don't want to see the Lion King with Kermit the Frog in it, you know.
That's disgusting.
But
Kermit the African horned toad.
I did see that like they were thinking about, before they settled on Treasure Island, they were thinking of doing like a King Arthur type movie.
Oh,
like that'd be kind of cool. But there's so many like classic books, like just do so many classic stories you could do, and that would be my pitch to Disney. Just do that.
Animal Farm.
Oh man.
Fahrenheit 451.
I mean, the one we've said in the past would be The Count of Monte Cristo, just because we love that story.
That would be so good.
I hear a lot of calls online for give us Les Mis with the Muppets.
Dude, I would love Les Mis so much. That would be so good. And it's a musical. Like, the only thing is that Les Mis is super serious. It's kind of hard to make.
Not for long.
No. Crime and Punishment they could do. Yeah, Les Mis would be so good. Oh my goodness. If they want to do another boat one, they could do Moby Dick.
Yeah.
Probably not. They could do Frankenstein. Nah.
They kind of did that.
The Iliad.
That Haunted Mansion Muppets thing.
Yeah.
But that wasn't that good. But that was kind of a dip into like the spooky stuff, I guess.
Yeah. I guess a lot of these are either too serious and like dark, or they've already done stuff like that.
I feel like you could do a Muppets like Sherlock Holmes or something, though.
Okay.
I don't know.
Like a series like that? With Fozzie as Sherlock?
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, they could just do a series instead of doing a movie. They could just do like a anthology series. What each
Disney
episode
Plus.
Is just a different, like, it's basically a Wishbone but with the Muppets.
No, I want full movies. I have standards.
Okay, all right.
I want the full movies. That's what I want.
That's what I want.
Okay, Count of Monte Cristo is probably my first choice then.
There's just a lot of classic stories and classic stuff that they could use as source material and
A Tale of
And
Two
do something
Cities
fun.
with the Muppets.
yeah.
Yeah. Like the first one I would think of is Adventures of Huckleberry Finn.
hmm
That could be a good one because there could be human kids like in this movie. Anyways, that's enough of that. We can move on. We've been on for a while. Okay, so you remember that scene where he tricks Sam the Eagle into giving him the keys and like checking on the leaks in the lifeboats, and he just casts them out into the ocean, and fakes his death and stuff. Okay, so when he tricked Sam the Eagle to check the lifeboats, I noticed when he handed him the keys and the hat that he handed him everything, but he was easily 20 to 30 feet away, like down. He was looking very down at him, but it looked like he just handed it to him without standing up.
Oh.
So he had really long extended arms. That was a continuity error I noticed, but that's about it.
With Muppets, you're always kind of looking for like wires and stuff like that. There was a scene where they're like all jumping over or getting like thrown overboard, and there was just a ton of wires I could see.
When I was researching this, I noticed I remember I saw that Brian Henson was complaining about where they were doing the scene where the song where Piggy and Kermit are hanging upside down.
Oh,
he said that was a really hard scene to do because they had to get rid of the wires, and they had multiple people working on each puppet at each time.
Yeah.
And because you don't see them hanging upside down often.
It's true.
Also, fun fact about Brian Henson in this movie, the movie was taking a very long time, so he just vowed to grow his hair out, and he wouldn't cut his hair until the movie was over, or at least the script was done.
Interesting.
And he had super long hair by the end of it.
I didn't know that was the story behind that. I just thought he had long hair. Yeah, it looked like they pretty much after Christmas Carol, which came out in like '92, they're like, oh yeah, let's do another one. That was that was pretty successful. Let's do another thing. So they were trying to think about what to do, and they finally settled on the Treasure Island. And I feel like what I was reading is like they wanted it to come out in like '94, but this didn't come out till '96. So
yeah, it took a long time, I guess, to get the script going.
So yeah, I guess with all that and then filming, he grew out his hair for a while.
Yeah. It looked really long, like 2 years worth probably.
Yeah.
The thing I've learned about this is that we need more Muppet movies in general. They don't even have to be. I mean, I would love for them to be the classic book adaptations, but take them out of the vault, Disney. They deserve better. They don't deserve you. No, you don't deserve them.
Well, Jeremy, it's been a long time coming, but we finally talked about Muppets Treasure Island. How do you feel?
I feel good. I could keep talking about it for probably 2 more hours.
It'd be nice, but I think we're going a little long here.
All right. Well, we got more for this Pirate Month, and we've got another Treasure Island adaptation coming up soon. So it doesn't
Absolutely.
matter.
And this will not be the
all right.
last time you hear about the Muppets on our show. So don't you worry your pretty little head about nothing.
Jonathan, what's your letterbox rating for this?
All right. I think we're going to differ on this one. So,
I know you will.
I gave this a 4 out of 5.
Gotcha.
I really like this movie. It's not, I feel like Christmas Carol is like a 5 out of 5 for me. I don't feel like it's up to the same standard, but I really like what they did with this movie. I think it's funny. It's got some great songs in it. And I wish they had more movies going in the same direction as this one, but this is definitely at the top half of the list for Muppet movies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This movie is not in my top 3 Muppet movies. I think we've talked about this before. That's where me and you differ.
And you're wrong for that, but that's okay.
Well,
that's okay.
We'll get to it.
Mr. Bimbo says you're wrong.
I actually don't know all of my like complete Muppet movie rankings, but I do know that the original Muppet movie and Christmas Carol are my top two for sure. So, Jeremy, what would you give this score? This movie?
It's a 5 out of 5. I'm giving it 5 stars. It's a rare movie that I give 5 stars.
I'm happy
but
for you.
I don't give them that. I mean, if you think I'm giving a Muppet movie 5 out of 5 stars, you're going to think I'm very loose with my 5-star ratings, but I'm not. Most of mine are 4.5s. I am optimistic, but this is my favorite Muppet movie, with Christmas Carol being a close second.
So this is
This
number
is my
one.
comfort movie.
This is number
for
one
Muppets. This
for
is
you?
number one, easily. I told you
Interesting.
this. Easily.
Yeah.
I think about this more than any Muppet movie. And just like I can fall asleep to this movie and dream happily and wake up happy. I can fall asleep happy. It's so funny. It's a comfort movie for me, and it's an adventure. Minus the Miss Piggy part.
Yeah.
And it got a 5 out of 5 with the Miss Piggy part in this movie.
Hey. Honestly, I feel like
That's
she's
how good
in
it is.
Miss Piggy has like the smallest role of any in this movie. She's not in it that much.
And you wonder why this is my 5 out of 5 Muppet movie.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, for real, this is like top tier for me.
And we liked her in Christmas Carol because she's not playing Miss Piggy. She's actually playing like a loving wife.
That's actually good. And Christmas Carol is another 5 out of 5 for me.
I will add on to mine. Like, I do want to acknowledge Tim Curry is doing an amazing job in this movie. People compare like, what's the quote? I feel like it's a meme I've seen.
Yeah, it was a tweet, I think.
The reason Christmas Carol works is because Michael Caine treated the Muppets as people in that movie. And Tim Curry works in Treasure Island is because he treated himself as a Muppet. Or something like that.
And that's great.
Something to that effect. And I agree with that. And even though like he's not one of my favorite actors, I do think that he's doing an amazing job working with these Muppets.
He is. Great villain moment. Also, I just remember watching this. This is like a classic like music class. Watch a movie in school. Like this is one of our movies that we watched a lot in class.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. And Tim Curry. Great villain. What a great story. I'm glad we're covering this story at least twice. This is great. And maybe next year for Pirate Month we'll do the original Treasure Island movie. That would be good.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
Sweet. All
Well,
right.
Jeremy, I'm excited to be on this this special themed month that we've got going. Fast food month. Last week we covered Popeyes. This week we got Long John Silver's. Next week we'll be covering Captain D's. So stay tuned for that one.
Okay. And then Red Lobster.
Red Lobster to close us out.
All right, well, another day, another staple. Before we wrap up, we want to hear from you. What's your favorite inside quote from Muppets Treasure Island? Leave a comment below.
So, Jeremy, this was your pick. This is your movie. And next week it's going to be my turn. We've already discussed what we're going to be covering on the episode for this
Special
month.
occasion. It's Pirate
Month.
But we do have a guest.
We're going to have a special guest. Someone who's not been on the show before. And we're really looking forward to the next episode because of the movie, but also because of the guest. And
he's really cool.
if you want to know what it is, here's a clip.
I thought for sure.
All right, I admit it. It's my fault. All my fault. I'm the one to blame.
But the wine.
I'm a Hebrew, and I worship the Lord, the God of heaven, who made the sea and the land, and I'm running away from him. He told me to go to Nineveh, but I didn't listen. You know, I don't like those people. Ooh, fish slappers. Yes, so I ran, and I ended up here, and now everyone's in terrible danger, all because of me. I'm afraid the only thing left is to be thrown into the sea.
Aw, you don't have to do that. We got a plank. You can just walk off.
If you want to help support the show, go check out our Patreon page. You can become a member for only $3 a month, and you get access to exclusive bonus episodes like the Backburners or our new movies and stuff. And there's extra content, and you get voting rights for random episodes. Anyways, we love you, and whether you're a patron or not, but we would love you extra if you were a patron. So go check that out.
Yes, $3 a month. Make your checks out to Rat Cruises Limited. We put the rat in pirate.
Today's episode was sponsored by Rats Cruises Limited.
In case you're wondering, our music was not done by Hans Zimmer. It was done by Alex Bird. And a quick shout out to Bryce Bridgerman for our amazing show art. Find him on Instagram at GroovyBridge.
And I'm going to do one.
Okay.
And just like I gave this movie a 5-star review, we would love if you gave us a 5-star review. If you do, we'll read it on the show, and we'll tell Mr. Bimbo to take you on his next trip to the moon.
That's amazing.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. We hope you enjoyed revisiting our childhood staples just as much as we did. Don't forget to follow us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify so that you don't miss out on a future episode.
And if you like the show, share it with your friends.
Until next week, it's time to walk the plank. We'll see you next time on Inside Quotes.
We're standing in the room with a dead guy.
I got cabin fever.